Hey guys, what's up? This is the Man vs. Wheelchair podcast, where we talk about shortcuts, secrets, and truths we wish we knew 20 years ago about being disabled. Together, let's take over your disability with a winning mindset and learn to live life the way you want.
Well, you know, what's really interesting with that is, I can't even count the number of times that people have come to me and told me, man, you're such an inspiration.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. You know, it's not like that every time.
Yeah.
You know, that is kind of stereotyping. But the fact of the matter is, people do look at other people with disabilities that are succeeding in life as inspirational.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a human nature.
Yeah.
So, you know, what I love to get across to people, and what I try to get across even to these kids at these camps, was that people are going to be looking at you no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So you can either motivate them for the better, or you can motivate them for the worse, the negative.
Right.
Either way, they're going to be motivated in one direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, if you already have that platform in front of you to be able to be a motivator, you know, why not just give into it and utilize it? You know, I'm not going to be in the military. You know, I'm not going to be a construction worker. I'm not going to be a firefighter. You know, these are things that are just, I'm not going to be able to do. But what I can do, you know, and that I can motivate you. I can be an inspiration to you. And there are lots of things that I can do. And I like to tell people, you know, it's not the things that I can't do. It's the things that I can do that makes me me. But as soon as you identify that you do have a responsibility in some way, shape, or form, whether you like it or not, that's whenever you can start to really get control of your attitude, and you can start to move forwards.
Yeah. Yeah. And this goes back to what I was saying about value. Is a lot of people search for value, and they're constantly trying to build it. But, you know, when you're disabled, you kind of already have a built-in bit of value, because it's like you've been placed in the middle of a story to test how strong you are, and
right.
you just been thrown into it. Think of just like any movie you see. These characters don't ever ask for the storylines that they're thrown into, but they're in it. And it's how they control themselves in that storyline, and the storyline being your life, that, you know, kind of defines what you are.
Yeah, exactly. And where I wanted my storyline to go, I remember, you know, being younger and looking ahead of where do I want to be? You know, and of course, you know, I had all the negativity in my mind about, you know, like lifespan and, you know, was I going to be alive whenever I'm 25 or whatever, you know, all those things. But even looking past all that, where did I want to end up? And if you don't have a clear goal to move forward to, then you're just going to be all over the place. You know, my goal was I wanted to be married, I wanted to have kids, and I wanted to have a good job. You know, and that's, you know, I had to start, you know, one foot in front of the other. And, you know, like my oldest brother, he didn't finish high school. He dropped out and he was disabled. You know, he eventually went back and got his GED, but there wasn't really any motivation. He didn't really have a clear goal at the time. Now, later on, as he got older, he got better goals, and he ended up, you know, getting married, and he has 3 kids, you know, but I needed to start putting one foot in front of the other, you know, no pun intended. and you know, okay, well, let me get grade school knocked out. You know, let me get high school knocked out. Let me get college knocked out, you know, and then I can just slowly move towards that. Because, I mean, whether you're disabled or not, you know, I looked at it like this. What girl would want a deadbeat guy in a wheelchair that didn't have a job, didn't have a degree?
Right.
You know, it's like, I can't just expect special treatment just because I'm disabled. Doesn't matter how good my personality is.
Yeah.
You know, so I wanted to get those goals and to start going one in front of the other. And I did. I finished school, I graduated college, I got married, and I have 3 kids. But that was something that I had to start, way back when I first got, in the wheelchair. I had a terrible attitude. I treated people badly. I barked out orders at people. And, as a 9-10-year-old going through this emotional, roller coaster, I understand that. And that's why I understood these kids at these camps and other kids that I know that are disabled. And that's what I'm trying to help them get through is, look, this is going to happen. You're going to have to start getting control of yourself. It's okay to be upset for a while. The mourning comes, and after you mourn, then you can start to move beyond that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You have to live kind of beyond your disability, and a lot of it is just kind of ignoring it. You feel that? Just kind of ignoring it and kind of going on. Because so you're born, and then you go to school, and then you go to college, and then you get a career. All of this, right? It's like laid out basically, and just because you're and all those things are laid out, they're clear goals, right? Just on a grandiose scale. So
right.
So just because you're born with some type of deformity or disability or ineptitude for something doesn't mean that that's not still available for you, like those options,
Right.
And like you said, you have to live beyond it. You have to think about the future. And if you want any sort of good standard of living, you can't be stuck in that same stage forever.
That's a great point, and something I think that people need to understand is that this is your choice. Nobody forced me to do anything. I guess they kind of made me go to school in high school, but I could have dropped out. Yeah. I could have just stayed at home, become a recluse, but it was my choice.
And here's the thing though, you could have dropped out and stayed at home and became a recluse, and nobody would have blamed you. Nobody would have blamed you. Nobody would have questioned it, simply because of, I know me, my parents might not have liked it, and they would have expected more from me, but you got to be your own push, because people, and it's true. I don't like to say it, but it's true, is that people don't always expect the most out of you, and they'll give you the easy way out, because I guess maybe they feel sorry for you. I'm not real sure. I don't think so. I think maybe it's like, something. I don't know how to explain it.
I think what it is, I think it's oversympathy.
True. Yeah.
People are trying to oversympathize because they know that you're going through something that they can't grasp. They can't understand. So what they're doing is they're just, and bless my parents, they were great about this. They never gave in to things like that. Now let me specify, if I was having a bad day, they let me grieve, and they understood that. And they were great at knowing me and my personality. And they knew whenever I needed to, kind of recluse up for a little while for whatever reason, and they would let that happen. But then they would come in and say, okay, it's over. Now it's time to move on, and let's get going. Let's do something. Let's find something for you to do.
Yeah.
And so, the sympathy was there, but it was only there for a limited time as it needed to be. What is happening typically is that other people will give too much sympathy, and now they'll just let you fall away to the wayside.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh, it's he's disabled, it's okay, and they're not holding you to any type of standard.
Yep.
And that's unfair for us, because you're not gonna do that to any other person. You're gonna hold any other ambulatory person to a standard. and so you don't need to treat us differently in that respect. Make sure that you hold us to a standard, and that's what's going to make us want to reach beyond and want to move beyond where we are.
Yeah. I've seen it in jobs. I've seen it in relationships. And here's the awesome thing. The thing that I love about that point is that things are going to be harder for you. Like, it's going to be much harder to have a work day. Some days it's just going to be more physically demanding, even if you're sitting in an office doing something or at the computer. Maybe you don't have the stamina. But what makes that so cool is that you do it even though it's harder for you. You push through it and you accomplish something. And you can even work harder and do a better job than somebody else. And, you can know in your head, this was harder for me. And you can have that confidence that even though it was harder for you and you had all the excuses in the world to stop and nobody holding you accountable, that you held yourself accountable, and you can make those promises and build that confidence in yourself that you can do these things.
Right. And that's that you nailed it. The biggest thing is accountability. It's like nobody's going to hold you accountable if you don't hold yourself accountable. Yeah. And I mean, they're supposed to, they're absolutely supposed to. But it's like, if you can kind of liken this to, like a deadbeat alcoholic or something, nobody's going to expect anything out of them because they're a deadbeat alcoholic. Yeah. So it's like, now apply that to me. Nobody's really going to expect me to succeed in life because, I have a terrible genetic disease. It's a crippling disease. They're not really looking at me and saying, oh, that guy's.
Thanks for listening to the Man vs. Wheelchair podcast. If you guys got this far, that's amazing. And I hope you got some value. And I want you to do one more thing for me. Go to manversuswheelchair.com and sign up to join the club. That's where we're going to give you exclusive content and more tips on how to level up in life. So go do that right now. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to hit that follow button.